I'd like to welcome everybody to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. This is our live talk show, episode number 9. We've got a really good show in store for you guys tonight. And I've got a couple co-hosts with me on here tonight, so it's going to be a really good show. So definitely hang in there, guys. You can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. If you want to send us an email, you can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. We try to answer all emails, all questions that you all may have regarding ghosts, spirits, and hauntings. So send us an email. You can visit our Facebook page on facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. Our YouTube channel is YouTube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. We do have a YouTube channel. We are dual streaming into that right now. So if you are watching that, we will not answer your we will not answer the Facebook feed from there. So please stay on our Facebook page if you want any questions. Tonight, Cubs want to co-host with me tonight. Studio here, so we finally got them in here, so they're going to be a minute. But definitely check our Instagram, though, Instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. If you guys want to give us a follow on. But the music tonight is by the Midnight Syndicate. So if you're into that music, it's the Midnight Syndicate. All right, it's reserved use with permission. You can check out their website, midnightsyndicate.com. Also check out their music on Spotify. They also YouTube. So check out the Midnight Syndicate for some creepy music if you like that, guys. But this is episode number 9 of our talk show. Just flying by. We've had a lot of good shows already. We deal with all spirits, anything paranormal related. We'll talk about this monster. So we will come on the show. Great guest coming up. I've talked with several people. One of our future guests, just to kind of give you a sneak peek, is going to be Sharon. She is the owner of the McPike Mansion over near the St. Louis area. She's going to be on her show here in an upcoming episode, so that's going to be really cool. But tonight we're going to talk about our investigation that we conducted this weekend. What did we find after we quit going live, and let you guys know a little bit about that. We're also going to dive into the subject of secret societies and Freemasonry. So if you're interested in secret societies and the Freemasons and Freemasonry in general, definitely stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be telling you, what that is, explaining, the Freemasons to you, what they do, what we do. And hopefully you have a better understanding of the Freemasons too when you get out of here. But I'm going to go ahead. I've got 2 co-hosts with me on here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them into the talk show here. I'm going to go with Becky Knighty here first. Going to add her into this. And hey, Becky, how are you?
I'm fine this evening. A little tired from our investigation last night, but very well otherwise. And how about you?
I'm all well, good deal, Becky. I got Jareth on here too, so I'm going to throw him in there too, Becky. So
great. He's got the good stories.
Somewhat, I guess. Sorry, you're kind of going in and out. I couldn't hear you first. I think we're good now. Yeah, all right, we're good. Oh, hi.
Oh, that's okay. There we go. Got Jareth Pinkston with me tonight too, and Rebecca Knighty, 2 of my team members. I always like to get my team members on here on the show too, get their opinions from everything. Becky's been with me for years, and we got so many stories. We could sit on here and talk like me and Dale Kazmarek do. We got a lot of ghost stories to share. But And I'd like to introduce Jareth too. He's down there on the bottom screen there. He's one of our new investigators, and he did a really good job last night on our paranormal investigation. He was running the command and base a lot of times, monitoring stuff. That's a really important job that people don't realize. We need people sitting there at the monitors at all times, watching that stuff, watching what goes on. And he did a real good job doing that last night. So thanks, Jareth, and welcome to our talk show. How you been?
Oh, pretty good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I would say it's pretty fun. It's just difficult to pay attention to 5 cameras at the same time.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's all. What'd you say, Becky?
I said I agree totally.
Yeah. That's why I like to throw some of the new people onto that, just so they can see that, because it is. I mean, that's a job. You're monitoring those cameras and trying to look at 5 different screens to see if anything's happening. But if anything happens, you can zoom into that screen or blow that screen up. Look at stuff, see if you see anything. But yeah, Jareth did a real good job last night. One of my new team members, and we are. Last night we had a paranormal investigation. If you guys missed it, definitely go back and check out our live feed, because we had I think it was one of the best ones we've done in a while. I mean, the history just behind the location is really cool. And it's a local history, and that's why, I enjoyed it too. But if you guys did not see that episode, definitely go check it out. We had a part 1 and a part 2 from last night. And where we were at, it was called the Edward Dobbins Masonic Lodge number 164 in Lawrenceville, Illinois. So the secretary of the lodge contacted me. We've been there before on a couple occasions, but never did a full scale investigation there. We were actually there, and just did kind of a small investigation. But last night we did more of a full scale. We had the cameras set up and everything. But we were contacted by the lodge secretary. Bob. He contacted me and said they're still having strange things going on. People are seeing things in this lodge. The balcony area of the Masonic Lodge, people report apparitions walking around up there, during lodge, while they're having lodge. They look up there and they see these people walking around. So, that's pretty cool. And it's also neat for any type of haunted location that we investigate. It's cool when you have multiple eyewitness accounts. You don't just have, one person saying, "Oh, I've seen this." It's there's multiple accounts. I mean, I'm sure Becky and Jareth, you thought it was a pretty good place too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I was lucky enough to be there before. And I don't think that we had quite as much happen the first time I was there, but last night was very, very active. It was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You think the same, Jareth?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy too. I mean, we got some really good activity that I couldn't explain, and I try to debunk everything. I'm which we're going to talk about that here when we get on into the show. Some of the things we did experience and here at the Edward Dobbins Masonic Lodge number 164 in Lawrenceville. So I do have some pictures I'm going to kind of show you guys if you missed last night's investigation on the live feed. This is a picture of the building itself. You can kind of see the building there. Now, the location used to be a church back in the day. So it was originally built for use as a church. But the pillars and the other stuff was added later on, I believe. I'm not sure what year that is. I'm still brushing up on my history on this location, because it's going to be, I think, somewhere we would like to go in the future and do repeated investigations and help these guys out. They're wanting a lot of help. They're trying to get this location on the National Registry of Historic Places. So we're going to try to help them with that too. And I also happen to be a Freemason myself, so I always enjoy getting into these type of projects. Where we help other lodges and especially if they're haunted. Yeah, that's even a plus, if we've got a haunted Masonic lodge, because I like the Freemasonry in general, but when we get a lodge like that with paranormal activity, that just it's right up my alley. So, but some of the things, I'm going to show you guys another picture here if I can pop it up on the screen. Here's the sign on the outside, Edward Dobbins Masonic Lodge number 164, kind of tells you the location. They also have an Order of the Eastern Star there. So Eastern Star, I believe, still is active and meets in this lodge also, as well as the Freemasons. So, we're going to get into tonight in our episode 2, not only the paranormal stuff, we're going to talk about Freemasons and secret societies and, what make up these fraternities and how they operate and work. So, because I think a lot of people, they don't understand, what the Freemasons are, what we do. So we're going to talk about that a little too. But some of the, here's a picture of the lodge room from inside there. Now, this is, the inside there. It's inside the lodge. Now, the lodge, when you enter that is the pre-Civil War church that was built. That area of the building is the oldest part of the building. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, Becky and Jareth, maybe, didn't he say this is the oldest building in Lawrence County? Didn't say that?
I think so, yes.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I know it is in Lawrenceville, but I'm pretty sure it's the oldest building in Lawrence County. So, but yeah, I'm still brushing up on my history of this location because it's really cool. It's got connections to the Underground Railroad, guys, and slavery. The underneath the altar, which I don't know if you can see it in that picture or not, but I'll pop it back up there. Right in the center, you can see like a little blue square. That's the altar. Underneath that altar, there is a tunnel that leads, I believe, out both sides. It goes to the river on one side, and the other side, it goes up underneath where 2 buildings used to set across the street. So, there is an underground tunnel there, and they are trying to get money, and they're trying to get this place put on the National Registry of Historic Places so they can put a plexiglass window in there, and people can actually view that tunnel with LED lights, and they can slide the altar, over, and people can do tours and stuff in there. So it's really cool. It's a really historic place. I'm really looking forward to going back to it in the future. I'm going to pop up a picture of the clock here. This clock, they said that this is a really neat old clock too, but they said that the clock has a lot of activity when they're in lodge too. This clock face will open up. And if you did watch our live feed last night, a lot of you probably noticed a loud clicking sound until we stopped it. That's what you were hearing in the background. I see some people complaining on the live feed that they're hearing something weird, but that clock was extremely loud. In one of our previous investigations, the clock face actually opened up and popped open, I believe, on one of them. I think that was like our first time there. But this was our first full-scale investigation there. And I thought it was pretty cool. Didn't you, Becky? And Jared? What's your thoughts and opinions?
It was one of the more active ones that we have had in the past, not just for that particular place, but for a lot of them. And as you said, the history, I think it's fabulous. Didn't they say that clock that you just showed was actually in a former law office that was either, I don't know if it was the Dobbins that's the post is named after, or if it was Dubois. But anyway, it was in a lawyer's office, I believe. So it's very, very, very old also. But yeah. I thought it was a fabulous investigation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought it went really well. The investigation, other than, I'm trying to monitor the live feed, guys, here. Hold on just a second so I can pop it up. But other than our rough start to the investigation, but if we had a perfect investigation with perfect environmental conditions and perfect things, I don't know what we'd do. But when we first got there, we started going around the building, kind of doing a little site survey, and we started smelling gas. So, there was a smell of gas in the building, and we had to, which we now know who that was. Bob called a guy in, which was one of the lodge members, and he's the current worshipful master of the lodge, Ben, which we, met and talked to. He came in with a wrench, and him and Dickerson went and fixed I think they fixed the gas leak to the best of their ability. So, we got off to a rough start. We were going to start right at 8 p.m., Central Standard Time with our live feed. but we didn't want to blow up or die of some type of inhalation, problem in there. So we got that all fixed up and started our investigation. So we apologize for being late, but you never know what you're going to run into with these investigations, especially doing the site surveys. And that's really important, when you're going around investigating these locations. Like we talked about, I think it was last episode, the dangers of paranormal investigation. That wasn't on my list, a gas leak. We got to we can add to our list about with every investigation we do. But, you just got to be careful at some of these places. But we definitely got fixed, and it was no big deal at all. But that's why we were late coming on, guys. But here's a cool picture from inside too. That's the Masonic square and compass, and you've got the Order of the Eastern Star, symbol to the right. So if you guys have ever seen that on tombstones when you're out and about, that's what you're looking at. That's Freemasonry symbols right there. The square and compass and the star like that. That represents the Order of the Eastern Star. But the Masonic square and compass. What's cool about Freemasonry is I'm a Freemason. I was initiated back in, I don't even know what year. It's been many years ago now. But the cool thing about it is, the rituals and the ceremonies and stuff that we do. I can look at a square and compass on a tombstone out in an old cemetery, and I know that guy went through the same process that I went through, even if it's like almost 200, 150, 200 years old. I know that guy did the same thing that I done. Our rituals and stuff haven't changed over the years that much. That's the whole point. They've been passed down and remain the same. So it's cool. It's like you have a connection to these people through a symbol on their tombstone, which is really, really unique. And why I find it cool, it's we call each other brothers, and it really is. I can look at a guy that's passed away that I've never met and know that guy was my brother. It's kind of a fraternity thing. He went through the same thing I did. So it's like, it's really neat to have a connection to Freemasons when we're out ghost hunting and in these old cemeteries, and you see these Masonic symbols. I mean, and I know, Becky, you've always been interested in like tombstone symbolism and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you studied that pretty much a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, actually, where I'm sitting now, I can see like I have several books that have all that information there. I mean, it's not just the fraternal organizations like you're speaking of. There's a lot of other symbolism. But I love the fact that, as we've always said, as you were in life, you are in death. So you're carrying that feeling of fraternity with people into your death. You are so proud of it that you've got that symbol on your stone.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, yeah, people are extremely proud and dedicated to be Freemasons. Seriously, like if I could say, if I could look back at my life and say, what was some of the cool things, I did during my lifetime, definitely becoming a Freemason would be on the top of my list. I recommend it to any guy, and unfortunately right now we only, accept guys, but the females can join the Order of the Eastern Star. That's what that is too. Females, if they have a Masonic connection, like a husband, a grandfather, anything like that, the females can join the Eastern Star. So, so they do have a group they can join, which is pretty cool also. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a cool fraternity, and you learn a lot, of stuff. It just depends on how deep you want to get into the study of Freemasonry too. But getting into that and talking about the haunting at Edward Dobbins Lodge, I think that's why some of these Masonic lodges are so haunted. Yeah, the people are dedicated so much to Freemasonry. Some of these guys go out every night to different lodges. Once you become a Master Mason, you're enabled to travel, they call it. So you can go to a different lodge. If I wanted to go to a lodge in, like Texas right now, I could go down there and, they would test me to make sure I'm a Freemason and I could enter this lodge, show my dues card and all that. That's what's neat. You can go to any lodge anywhere pretty much in the world once you become a Master Mason. And these people are so dedicated, they travel around and they do this stuff. A lot of these lodges are haunted because of that. The older members pass away and they come back. They love these places. It's not because it's it's not an evil place or a dark place. It's because they like it. They enjoy coming there. And, I think that's why a lot of the former Masonic members are still there. They're just, they're still dedicated in death. It's pretty neat because one of my rings that I wear, it's got a saying in Latin on it that says, "What virtue unites, death shall not separate." And that's a good phrase really to describe it. But we had a lot of activity. I mean, how do you rate it, Becky? I mean, there were some things Jareth, I couldn't debunk. I mean, what do you guys think as far as the activity goes? There were some things happen.
I'm going to let Jareth answer.
Go ahead, Jareth. Yeah.
Because yeah.
Oh, we're going to say something? I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
No, I was just going to say I'm letting you answer first because I'm not as good with the equipment. And we did use a lot of equipment last night. And I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about that.
Well, when we first went into the main room, we were going to try an EM pump. An EM pump lets out electromagnetic fields. It's a little box that you turn on, so it lets spirits manifest and communicate. Well, we switched that on and stuck it on the altar because we thought it would do something and trigger something. And then Jason went ahead and asked it to knock. So we hear like 3, 4, maybe 5 big loud bangs across the corner of the room. And that was pretty crazy. That got me whenever that happened. Because it happened right whenever he asked to, or a little bit after. But it was still pretty interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, Jared. I was reading the comments there too on the live feed while you're talking. But yeah, that EM pump, that thing stirred up everything. Like, I'm not a big, we haven't used those in the past a lot. I have experimented with plasma balls, even, which is sort of like a miniature Tesla coil, which creates energy, and generates electromagnetic fields. And, like you say, and the whole thought process behind it is to generate enough energy these ghosts and spirits can use and manipulate that energy to talk, to knock, to show themselves, maybe, light up, illuminate. So in Freemasonry too, the altar is kind of a sacred place. So I thought, there's probably already a lot of residual and concentrated energy in that area. So like, we decided to put the EM pump on the altar, and that's where, everything started happening. I mean, I really think it was due to that, because we weren't having anything happen until we kicked this EM, this pump on. It starts generating these electromagnetic fields into the atmosphere. I think they started using that to actually come through and make contact, because we heard knocks up in the balcony. I believe it ended up with 5 large, distinct knocks. Wasn't it 5, Jareth? Didn't we count it?
Yeah.
But,
it was pretty interesting. See, but the one thing about those is that they have so high of a frequency of that, because if you use them long enough, it'll actually mess with your head and start making you hallucinate. And things.
Yeah, like Jared saying, yeah, you don't want to mess with those things too much. The EM pumps, EMF pumps, and the generators and stuff. Like he's saying, they can have the opposite effect and cause EMF-induced hallucinations. But for that short period of time, it probably won't affect the human mind. But when you're dealing with an EMF field for like a long period of time, like we've dealt with some investigations that we've done, some of the electromagnetic fields where people have been sleeping, with refrigerators on the other side of the walls, like we've talked about, they're sticking their head in like this major EMF field, and these people are wigging out at night. They're having bad dreams. They're seeing ghosts at the end of their bed. And it's all due to high electromagnetic fields affecting the human brain. So yeah, like he's talking about, you don't want to expose yourself to large amounts of EMF like we did last night, because that can generate and cause problems, health effects. But the people, you got to be real careful, and that's why we use EMF meters on a lot of our investigations, is actually detect EMF fields to see if the field itself is causing the paranormal activity, not a real ghost or spirit, because it can be a hallucination. It it can be caused by the mind itself instead of, just the ghost or spirit manifesting using this energy. The human mind could be going nuts from the field. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
May I add something along with that, though? I was manning the cameras at that time, and I was in another room. Doors were closed between you and me, and there were walls, and there was no sound of these cameras. So I did not hear the knocks going on over there. However, we were having corresponding knocks in the room we were at. There were 3 of us in there manning the cameras screen, and there were corresponding knocks in there. So we weren't close enough to this machine to be having any hallucinations, just in case we were susceptible to that kind of influence. So that, I think, that sort of debunks part of that. We couldn't hear the knocks going on, and actually the first one corresponded with you asking if somebody could knock to let them know, let you know that they were there. We couldn't hear the question because we had no sound on the camera screens. However, it happened in our area too, and the walls are thick enough because they're very old and thick that we did not hear the knocks through the wall. It was actual knocks in our area too.
That's very, very interesting because, like you say, that's almost like the Estes method with the ghost box. You guys couldn't see what I was at or hear what I was asking, but yet you experienced phenomena associated with the question I asked. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, that validates, what happened in the lodge even more. That process of us hearing those knocks was probably the weirdest thing I think that happened. And I think it was something trying to communicate. We use the Phasma box a lot, but, I'm still on the fence about that thing unless we get extreme intelligent communication coming through it. But I do believe we got that too last night on the Phasma box, eventually. But the knocks, that was a physical thing that, I can't really debunk, and I couldn't figure out what was causing it. And it definitely came from up in the balcony area, in our area. And you said, was it like all around you guys in the kitchen area, Becky?
Yes, some of it was in. There's a hallway that led out, and actually the door was slightly ajar there, but there's enough space between us and where you were. We couldn't hear the knocks. We couldn't hear your questions. We just were able to see down the hallway. We saw no one there. There were no apparitions, but there were knocks there. There would be knocks closer to us. It sounded like a door being opened and closed in there.
Oh, wow.
One of the things you had asked us to do, it's the first time I have done the cameras screens watching that, and I rather enjoyed it, but you keep very good notes on that. You note the time, you note what happened.
Right.
So Jason can go back and collaborate what we wrote in there with what he was experiencing in the other room.
Right.
And we had no way to communicate that. So that was good evidence, I think. What do you think, Jareth?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that, even though sometimes I missed it because I was too paying attention to something else and not realizing it was going on.
Yeah, all those screens are hard to watch. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Jareth's first rodeo on the watching the screens there. So he did a good job, though. I tried to explain to him real quick live, what to do, what to look for. He hasn't went through our official training on how to do that, so he jumped right in there and took that over. And I thought he did a great job, just jumping in there like that for the first time. So I appreciate that. Yeah, we got out on the live feed, Shannon, I believe it's Wankle. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong there. She says, I had a really great experience with a plasma ball on the Goldenrod showboat while investigating with 3 girls in the dark. I asked for who was in the room to follow my voice and reach out to it. You could see someone touch the ball and then poof, turned off. Caught it on video, though. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people, seem to have experiences when you start generating energy fields, electromagnetic fields into the atmosphere, especially, like I say, we've used plasma ball experiments in the past, and we will into the future, because it's like basically like a miniature Tesla coil, and you're generating that energy. And that's why I was telling you guys on the live feed, and this may be why we got good activity last night too, is because there was incoming, possible lightnings and thunderstorms coming in. When you get that energy, that electrical energy in the atmosphere, I think that generates more energy for anything to manifest or come through or communicate, if anything's there. But the science behind that, it's electricity, it's energy, and they can possibly use that if there is a ghost or spirit there. We had things happen in the lodge, that I couldn't really explain. So, I can't say the place is not haunted, but in order to label someone as a place extremely haunted, I like to have extremely good evidence. That's why I want to go back to this location in the future and continue to document any type of paranormal activity that may be happening there, because you can't base an investigation upon a couple times. You got to go there several times, and like Becky probably remembers, I went to the Robinson Spook House in Robinson, at least 30 times did an investigation there before I finally heard what the owner had reported to me of knocks banging on the basement floor. It took me over 30 investigations to finally experience that myself. So, it's not like we can say, this isn't happening or that isn't happening because we haven't been there, as much as some places. But I definitely think it's a place we need to follow up on. Don't you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that you have to establish a good relationship with the spirits, which means you may have to go back and forth several times to investigate, as you said. But I wanted to add too, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning this. I know people noticed on the feed last night, the live feed, you were wearing your Masonic ring and your Masonic symbol necklace. Yes. And one of the team members is Eastern Star, and she was wearing her ring also. I think that established a certain amount of trust with the spirits too. And when you ask that they knock, they complied because you are a brother. She was a sister. So I think that you wore it as a symbol, but also as a trigger object in a way, but you weren't doing it maliciously. Right. I think they learn to trust you, and they're more able and apt to talk to you then in one way or another, or communicate anyway, whether it's with knocks, speech, whatever. So.
Sure. Yeah. And I agree. I think, it puts trust, that we were new people coming in, they're used to like the secretary and, the worshipful master of the lodge being there, working on stuff and everything, Bob and Ben, they're used to all those guys being there, and Jeremy showed up. We had 3 lodge members show up last night, and that was awesome because, that's the people they're used to, and, they felt comfortable, seeing us there with them. And like Becky says, the symbolism, I was wearing my my ring and necklace and stuff, and it just shows that, they can trust me if it is, former Masonic members, And I think there's more to this whole thing than just, a few Freemasons that have passed away and it's their favorite place to come back to. I think it dates back farther. I think it goes back to the time of the church, the pre-Civil War church. Abraham Lincoln attended church there. So, and Abraham Lincoln, there's, I guess a little, they were talking about how they believed Abraham Lincoln talked about being raised, as a Mason there, or wanted to join, become a Mason there. So, I guess that was, did that a little too late, but he ended up getting shot. But I guess Abraham Lincoln was friends with Edward Dobbins, as far as, what I can understand out of this whole story, so that's pretty cool. The Abraham Lincoln was friends with this guy, and there's that connection and the tunnels. It's just a cool place. I think there's a lot of stuff taking place there, probably historical stuff that wasn't documented or well documented that we need to dig into or try to find, because I think there's a lot more going on there than what we can see. Don't you guys think?
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, good comeback.
Well,
Jared,
I know.
I'm not trying to hog anything. Please talk.
No, it's okay. I understand. But no, like, yeah, there, like I said, like you said, there's a lot more going on there than what I think we're being told. Like, I think it's weird how me and you both like got the same like image going through our head at the same time as we did last night, and got it on the ALS or SLO camera about what was going through our head, and the stick figure doing it as well. I don't know if anybody heard that story that we experienced. I thought that was really messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some of the things they were asking, what we've seen and heard that we didn't want to announce. I'm still not going to tell what we've seen and heard, but just because I don't want to add to something that may not be there and it just be our imaginations. So, I mean, because there's no documented history. Me and Jared kind of experienced something weird, and that's what we were talking about, saying we were going to talk about it on camera. I had an image flash into my head, and Jared did at the same time, and we also got something indicating that occurrence took place on the SLS camera. But I mean, strange as it is, I'm not going to tell you what it is, guys, because like I don't want to invent history to a location just because maybe me and Jareth had the same thing pop in our mind, and we get this idea that maybe something happened there because we have no documentation of that happening there. We just kind of experienced it, if that makes sense. Because I don't like to be one of those groups that come in and say, "Oh, this happened there," because like we got some kind of weird psychic, thing that happened, and it's like, and then like that becomes a history, well, the next people that come in our next group, well, this group says that somebody did this. It's like I'm real careful as to what we say as far as what we think happened at a location, and I like to be historically accurate and detailed with our information, especially when it involves history or events actually taking place at a building or place like the Masonic Lodge. And even though I do believe there's a lot more that took place there than has been fully documented, I'm not going to say at the current time what we believe might have happened there due to the experiences we had. We'll just keep it at that.
Sounds good.
But yeah, as much as I want to. But yeah, I definitely want to go back, guys, and like I want to do a more full-scale investigation. We also talked with the lodge members, we talked with Bob and we talked with Ben, and we want to probably, and as far as I know, I think they're on board with this. We're going to do some type of haunted and historic tour for them and kind of raise money and sell tickets. They may donate the money to the lodge, or they may donate it to charity. I'm not sure what they want to use the money for, but it will go to a good cause. It's not going to go in our pocket. It's going to go in the pockets of either the lodge or a charity. So just know that, if we do a fundraiser there, that we're doing that for a good cause, and we're going to try to either help restore the lodge too. I would like to raise money to actually help restore the lodge and get this place on the National Registry of Historic Places, so they can open that underground tunnel up, put the plexiglass window down, and the public can come in. And like I would personally be a tour guide for that, if they get that going, because I think that would be really neat, to do a historic and a haunted tour of that building, and even have a haunted overnight. We got a lot going on Halloween this year, guys. I mean, and I've said this before, but Halloween this year, Halloween 2020 falls on a full moon. So that's going to be awesome. I don't even know where to put myself that night. There's so many places I want to be on Halloween night on a full moon, and there's only one of me. So where do you guys want to go? I mean, because like we could do a thing with the lodge. Even we've got McPike Mansion possibly wanting us to come over there to help them out on Halloween night over in St. Louis. We've got a lot of people wanting tours, so we're gonna have to split up, I think.
I'd be okay with that. think that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Go live at different times.
Yeah,
like we
because I
did
think me
during
and James
quarantine.
talked about. Yeah, because me and James talked about going to over to the Pike Mansion in St. Louis. Maybe Dickerson, some of the other guys hanging back doing the haunted tours here. But then I definitely want to help this Masonic Lodge out. Maybe we'll get a haunted overnight book there. Sometime before October, we could do like maybe something in September. With this Edward Dobbins Lodge. If they're all on board for it, that'd be kind of cool. Sell tickets to it and do a haunted overnight. Like you guys out there in the live feed think that'd be a cool idea. I mean, how many people would be interested in spending the night in like a haunted historic Masonic lodge, and the money be donated either to the lodge to help restore it or some type of charity, depending on what they decide to do with it. Like, give me a thumbs up out there, guys. Yeah, if you'd be interested in that, because we like to hear your feedback and support on all this too. So. Like we're getting a lot of thumbs up and hearts. So it's like we will probably be doing that. Yeah, it's going crazy. So a lot of people liking that idea. Like especially these places. These places we investigate that you guys, you experience these historical locations too, and some of the things we see and do, and it's just neat for the fans to get out there with this and take a haunted tour with us.
One gentleman just wrote that
see
he's
the
flying from
locations we go
Florida.
to. Oh, awesome! Yeah, Eric, is that who wrote that?
Yes, Eric said that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. If we got people from out of state, we got people from Japan on. It says we got. I think I just lost my feed for a minute, but yeah, looks like we got somebody tuning in from Japan even. But yeah, we take everybody from all countries, all states. If you guys want to take one of our haunted tours, get a hold of us. But we'll definitely be announcing like major events like that, especially the Masonic Lodge deal when we get it going. But yeah, just for the heck of it, out on the live feed, like it looks like we got Japan, Florida. Put in the live feed where you guys are from tonight. I like to see where y'all are from, what state. You don't have to tell me your address or anything, but just tell me like a city or state. Where you guys are all from out there tonight. So pretty cool. But we've had people from all over the United States take our haunted tours, especially from Texas, just to go on our haunted tours, and they had a heck of an experience that year. I mean, they ended up taking off. I don't know if you were on that tour, Becky, but they got scared and jumped in their vehicles and took off. I mean, they were freaked out. But
we usually have at least one group every year. So.
Wow, we just had some weird stuff happen that year. I mean. That takes off scared.
Yeah, usually. Barb says she'll bring a birthday cake for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Becky can hear me. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo. Okay. Yeah, we got two. Southern Illinois says I froze. Effingham. Can you guys still see and hear me out there? All right, I got somebody saying I froze up.
Yeah, you're still freezing.
Let me know. Yeah, that's crazy. Am I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Irene out there from Tokyo, Japan. Thanks for watching tonight. Like, how'd you get hooked up with this show? Like, did you just find us on the live feed, or how'd you find our group? That's pretty interesting. Oh, that's cool. We have half-cut samurai soldiers walking around. That'd be pretty neat to see. Yeah, it's cool how the different countries have different types of our Native Americans and our Civil War soldiers, and other countries have samurais and ninjas, and it just depends on like where you're at, you know, what type of stuff they're experiencing out there. It's like, okay, looks like we're good now. They're saying, well, I don't know. They're staying in and out still in the live feed, but I'm gonna let me see, make sure the connection's good here. Looks like it is, but we were having some extreme problems before this show, and I didn't think Becky and Jareth was going to get on here, but luckily they did. Christopher says he thinks the guy from Japan is a troll, but I don't know. Who knows? He's speaking English pretty well. Maybe not. But you guys, I know Jareth, he was interested in the Freemason. You know, we were kind of talking about that earlier before the show. So I'm going to kind of talk to you guys, you know, about Freemasonry, because a lot of you people out there may not know what the Freemasons are in the first place. Yeah, I mean, and it's really it's kind of simple, but yet it's very hard to explain, you know, when it gets into the deeper meaning of Freemasonry. But we're basically a fraternity, you know, of people. And the cool thing about Freemasonry is you can be any religion, you can be any race, you can have any beliefs, as long as you believe in some type of, you know, higher power, you can become a Freemason. And that's the cool thing, because we can meet together as individuals. You know, somebody may be, you know, a different religion or have completely different ideas, but yet we can meet in harmony in this lodge, and nobody fights, nobody has any problems. We're all equal. And that's the cool thing about Freemason. We treat each other as we are all equal, you know, and it's one of the oldest fraternities in the world. And it dates back to, you know, some people say it dates back to England, to the stonemasons, but it goes back further than that. It goes back to the ancient Egyptian time period with Isis and Osiris and the pyramids. I mean, it was just called by different things over the years. You know, it eventually took on the name of Freemasonry, even though back in the day, people were initiated into the same type of rituals, you know, 2,000 years ago, you know, or more, you know, into this same type of ceremony and rituals Freemasons perform today for their initiations. And it's pretty cool to see that. And there's a lot of stuff on the pyramids even that resemble Masonic initiations. There's stuff on there's old churches in different countries, you know, in England and different places in France. And it is also connected to the Knights Templar and the Order of the Templars. And that's that kind of my theory and thought. I mean, some Masonic scholars and historians have various opinions on this, but my thought is that the Knights Templar found refuge within Freemasonry back in the day, because they were looking for somewhere to, you know, take refuge. But the Knights Templar was definitely connected to the Freemasons and Freemasonry, and it still is to this day, because when you enter into the Masons, I mean, there's 3 degrees. You go through an initiation process, and there's 3 degrees. You know, you go into the entered apprentice degree is the first degree, and then you have the fellow craft degree, which is your second degree, and then your third degree is a master mason. And master mason is technically the highest degree obtainable by, you know, a mason. You know, they consider that the highest degree, even though you have what we call the craft. You know, you can go into higher degrees, but technically there is no higher degree than the third degree or master mason. And once you become a master mason, you're enabled to travel to any lodge in the world. Like I said, you know, you're able to go to different locations and you know, help with their initiations and their rituals, their catechisms. But the Freemasons, you know, there's a lot of history behind the Freemasons, and the Freemasons, you know, a lot of your presidents, including George Washington, was a Freemason. So there's a lot of Masonic symbolism in Washington, D.C. And yes, the Freemasons did create symbolism in Washington, D.C. because they were basically the founders. Freemasons, you know, founded the United States. So regardless of what some people claim, you know, there is Masonic symbolism in a lot of stuff there. So, but going back to the Master Masons, you know, the Master Mason degree and everything, once you become a Master Mason, you are enabled to join what's called the Scottish Rite, the York Rite, or the Shrine. If you guys have all seen the Shriners out there, the Shriners hospitals, those guys are Masons. You have to be a Mason in order to be a Shriner. So those that's what the Shrine does. They raise money for children, for the children's hospitals. They do a lot of stuff regarding fundraising events. So it's pretty cool. But I know you guys watch our stuff, and you see me talk about a lot of Masonic stuff in some of our investigations. So I'm trying to explain to you guys what all this is. But once you become a Master Mason, the Scottish Rite's open, and there's 32 degrees, actually 33 degrees in the Scottish Rite. The 33rd degree is an honorary degree, but most people go up to the 32nd degree. And the Scottish Rite's basically a branch off of Freemasonry, and you can there's just a lot of lessons in the Scottish Rite also. So, but then there's the York Rite of Freemasonry, which involves the Royal Arch Chapter, the Cryptic Council, and the Order of the Temple, or the Knights Templar. And that's where the Knights Templar stuff comes into this, is in the York Rite of Freemasonry. So there's basically three bodies in the York Rite, and the Knights Templar, the Order of the Temple, that comes into the York Rite of Freemasonry, or it's often called the American in that. And you actually you become knighted. You're knighted as like the Knights Templar in the Order of the Temple. It's pretty cool. I mean, but yeah, I've went through all that. I'm a 32nd degree Mason in the Scottish Rite, and I also belong to the York Rite, where I went through the Royal Arch, the Cryptic Council, and the Order of the Knights Templar. And it's a lot of neat history, a lot of neat old ritual that has been passed down through the years, and it is not a cult. Contrary to popular belief, you get on the internet, it's a cult, and we worship Lucifer and Satan. That definitely is not what happened in Freemasonry. There's absolutely no talk about that, and I would definitely tell you if there was. But there's nothing regarding that. It's not anything bad or evil like you see, like when you Google search. If you Google search Freemasonry, it's not a good thing. I mean, it's hard telling what you'll find, when you do Google searches on the Masons, because we're all like evil people that's trying to control the United States, aren't we, Becky?
Yeah. You're extremely evil, Jason.
Are you still alive with me? I know, yeah. But there's a lot to it. But I try to explain to people what it is. It's more like a fraternity where we raise a lot of money for charities, and help people out. So that's a good thing. But yeah, there's a lot of secret societies, secret societies that have copied off the Freemasons over the years, and of course, there's the Odd Fellows Lodge, and we've investigated several of the Odd Fellows stuff, which is almost like a direct copy. The Elks Lodge, we investigated that Elks Lodge in Lawrenceville, and a lot of their rituals and stuff is very similar to Freemasonry, and Freemasonry is much, much older, and Elks is basically a copy off of the Freemasons. So, there's a lot of orders and secret societies that have copied, and there's the the Order of Rosicrucians, which is another secret society. There's so many different, but that's where you get into the conspiracy theories of the Illuminati, and everybody thinks we're the Illuminati, and but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know what you got going on, Becky. I'm hearing some weird noise in the background.
My background? Oh, it might be
I don't know who it's
air conditioning.
I don't know what it was. Oh yeah, Penny says it's the secrecy makes imaginations run wild. Jennifer says I've often heard. Well, I'll go back to Penny real quick. Yeah, it is the secrecy. We don't allow anybody in, and unless but it's not real hard to get in if you're a guy. I mean, we don't take everybody, but if you ask, there's an old motto: if you ask one to be one. So if you ask a Freemason, you can join. But the process of that is you have to have 3 Masons sign your petition. and we have to accept you, then vote on it and accept you in. And if one person, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term blackballed before, but that's where that comes from, is Freemasonry. If one person puts this black ball, it's actually a cube, but if they put this black cube into our ballot box, you are not allowed into the lodge. So it only takes one, no vote to keep a person out. So, but it's where we try to find good people, make them better. That's the whole motto on Freemasonry too. It's making good men better. So you have to have the thing about this too is in Freemasonry, you have to have a belief in God. You cannot be an atheist. We do not accept atheists into Freemasonry. So, you can't enter if you say you're an atheist. So, so everybody that thinks it's bad, right there shows that it's not too bad. We don't let people like that in, but kind of getting, I just wanted to kind of cover the topic of that, what it is, because you'll probably see us investigating a lot of Masonic stuff, because with my connections, we can get into a lot of that stuff. So we investigated another location that we were supposed to keep anonymous, another Masonic temple that I won't name. We've actually done a few, and we've got probably about 4 more on our list that are Masonic lodges that we're going to investigate. So I just want to tell you that the fans and viewers out there, kind of give you a little bit of history and idea as to what it all involves, when you see us at these locations. But but yeah, she's talking about the secrecy, of it. That there's not many secrets anymore with the internet and Google search. A lot of our secrets are out, so it's like, and I think that's what scares people about it too, that we can keep secrets. And yeah, we have secret, handshakes and initiation signs and all that stuff, but there's nothing major going on. And I think that's what scares people, there's the secrecy behind it. But yeah, it's interesting. Jennifer says, I've often heard there's a denomination of churches that don't like Masons. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah, Jennifer, there are some churches about that. Is we allow them into Freemasonry. They just do not allow Freemasons into their church. So it's a church policy and rule. And a lot of that is Catholic Church. The Catholic churches don't allow, they used to be really hardcore against Freemasonry. That goes way back into the days of the Knights Templar, when, Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake in 1300 something. He was burned Pope, and stuff. It's like, it goes back into the days of the Knights Templar, where this Catholic stuff got involved in it, and they were, highly against Freemasonry. So, there's a lot of history out there, and a lot of false history out there too regarding Freemasonry and secret societies. But we're definitely going to continue to investigate these places, just because of the paranormal activity associated with them. It's like these lodges are just crazy. And churches. People think churches aren't haunted. Some of the best activity I've ever seen in my life came from old churches. Don't you agree, Beth?
Yes, very much so. And I was going to just note that might be the reason for all the secrecy, because at one time you could be killed because you were a Knight Templar or a Mason, so you have to keep some things secret. And it has just continued through the years. I don't know if that's what you agree with that, but at one time it probably was a necessity to keep a lot of that information secret.
That is, that's what it is. There's a lot of stuff, that, it's not really secrets, but just a lot of stuff that's been passed down. I'm big into studying ancient religions. I've studied ancient religions, secret societies and stuff, for years. It kind of ties into my paranormal investigating, because I can help with investigations when it comes to symbolism and, places we investigate like that. But it ties into the study of life after death too. All these ancient religions, all these secret societies. I mean, if there's one thread, one thing they believed in, it was the immortality of the soul. And that's what our basic church is. I'm kind of getting into religion after I told everybody I don't like to get into religion, but our basic churches believe, in an afterlife, and that's what these ancient religions believed in too. It's all based off of, we survived death. And that's how I tied into the paranormal investigating part. We're studying the same thing as paranormal investigators. We're trying to study life after death and figure out, if there's some type of scientific evidence that, the soul, the life force, whatever you want to call it, by whatever, means or names you want to name it, survives death and continues on. And that's what we study. It's not just, to me, it's not just going out there hunting ghosts. It's about, showing people that we continue on and there's nothing to fear after death. You shouldn't be afraid. It's like a doorway. You open that doorway and go into your other room. It's the same way with dying, I believe. I like to show people that, don't fear death, just because we can try to show you through documentation and proof, but nobody will ever know, we're not dead. But I think, that's some of our stuff, trying to study this, but, and everybody has their own viewpoints on why did you guys start hunting ghosts? I mean, what's, why did you say, hey, I want to be a ghost hunter?
I'm going to let you go first, Jareth.
Oh, I was going to let you.
We'll put Jareth on the spot.
I don't know. I would like to see what would happen, like if there is actually an after, and see what happens maybe after we pass away or move on. I got into it because, when you see something like that you can't, and unexplainable, it just makes you wonder what else is going on. So I guess that's kind of why I got into it, to, experience the unknown and try to document.
Yes. Well,
Sure.
I've had experiences too.
What about you?
Yeah, I've had experiences too, and that started me exploring it. I would see things and think, oh my gosh, I'm crazy, which I am. Jason knows that. But I would see things and want to explore to see if they're actually crazy.
We're all crazy.
Pardon? Oh, we're all crazy. I agree. Yes. But I agree with Jason.
I think we're all crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's the reason I write the columns that Jason allows me to post on our page, because I don't want people to be afraid of a spirit. It's just they're just people without bodies. That's one of her favorite things to say. And they are somebody's mother or father or grandparent or child. And I want people to realize that, yes, it's very probable that something of us, the intelligent part of us, lingers after our body dies. And I'm always trying to prove that. I'm a skeptical believer.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's the best way to be. I honestly, I would rather have somebody on my team that's very skeptical than somebody that is, a hardcore believer in ghosts and spirits, because I want somebody that's going to question things. I want people that's going to, try to debunk things. I want people that's going to try to, figure out what those sounds were caused by. I don't like people that are like, oh my God, it's a ghost. And they run. Everything's a ghost. I like to have people in there that, try to document, prove what, we are actually experiencing. Yeah, like the skeptical part of it. And I like to have a skeptical yet open mind as regarding any type of paranormal occurrence. And if we don't, if we just go in there and everything, that's just a bad way to look at paranormal engagements in general. But it says here, Shanna Winkle, I lived in a very haunted house in Alton, Illinois. The spirit of a little girl opened my eyes. The rest is history. I've seen her experience so much since then. Yeah, that's all it takes for some people to have an experience, and it kind of it starts their journey, into the paranormal. What did I experience? Keep the that's the weird thing about all this. Like, even though we are scientifically studying paranormal research or paranormal activity and phenomena, we can't. Sometimes we can't scientifically document this because it's not repeatable. Paranormal activity and paranormal phenomena isn't a repeatable activity. We control it and study it in a laboratory. That's where to get a sick explanation about these logans. We can set up a controlled environment the best we can, but we may have something happen one time that we think, causes this type of effect, and then the next night it totally blows our mind and changes our idea. Or it's so hard to study.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It goes along with you see that thing one time, and then it makes you wonder what else is there.
Let's have a delay. Can you hear me, Jerry?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You must not be able to hear me. What do you think?
I got headphones in, so I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody right background sound. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the background sound is. I'm hearing something weird.
Can you hear me now?
Is that off your end, Becky?
I think she muted herself.
Huh. I don't know.
It showed up a little
Let me
mute
see.
button.
Yep, I can hear. It actually off Becky's end. I muted her mic for a second to see if it was her, but I muted her.
Oh.
Yeah, I muted you, Becky, to see if that's coming off of this. I don't know.
What does it sound like?
Here. But yeah, I'm gonna try to what? I think we got a delay here. We're gonna try. It's gone now.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I got.
There we go. Much better.
Skip. Okay.
But yeah, we'll try to investigate this lodge. It's definitely one of the things we heard back at our paranormal at the Phasma box, and we heard what sounded like related intelligent communication coming across the Phasma box. And a really weird thing happened toward the end of the night when we didn't go, when we weren't live. Becky sang a little song to see if they would interact with her singing, and across the Phasma box we actually got a intelligent response saying she sings, and then it says a song right as she started singing, to see if that would kind of get anybody to communicate, since it was a church, and they probably sang stuff church there. But we also got what was it? And something else church. It said church. I think just church came across, didn't it?
Well, the reason that I actually decided to sing was we got a very loud female voice say,
you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We had a loud female voice say, "Praise the Lord," across the plasma box.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting, it being an old church, that's some type of intelligent communication. What did you say, Jareth?
I said, I guess I must have missed that because I didn't remember that. I think I actually left before you guys did.
I think you already left, right?
Oh, he did leave, didn't he?
You missed some of the good stuff.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you left, and we stayed at that lodge until like 5 a.m., Jareth.
Well, you didn't tell me that. I thought you guys were leaving at like 3, and I was really tired, so I just kind of left.
Yeah, we were there like long after you left. I forgot you left early.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some activity, after Jared left, and after we killed the live feed, because a lot of these locations we like to kill the live feed toward the end of the investigation, just so we can sit there in the dark and actually experience stuff. Because I've told you guys 100 times, with that live feed light and that bright light, it's extremely hard as with that going on. But we capture so much on the live is why we do it. We don't really do it for to make a show or anything like that. We actually go live to document paranormal activity so you guys can see it happen as it happens. And you can't fake much on the live feed. That's why I like it too. A lot of these groups that post stuff later, it's like, did they fake something? Did they put in these voices on stuff they post on YouTube later? If you're watching live, I mean, that's happening right there. So it's really cool to have everybody watching us live place.
Yeah. I'd say the one thing that got me.
And Shannon, you guys have Mineral Springs sometime. Heard of a little girl there, and she follows me everywhere. I would love a second opinion. Trying to read the rest of it. Yeah, having some audio problems. I don't know what's going on. People time getting the show even started tonight. We were 10 minutes late, guys. So I apologize. But Shannon says, "Do you guys get a para hangover after investigations? And what do you eat, drink, or do other than sleep? Do you bounce back?" As an empath, it really drains me personally. Dark chocolate helps. This Shannon says, that's pretty funny.
Chocolate.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other night. Me and Dickerson were talking about we call yeah, when you're out all night and then you have to get up early next day or something else. But yeah, it drains you. It's like I'm tired now. Yeah, and I'm tired now. I'm sure you guys are too. But we were there till 5 a.m. So yeah, it definitely takes it out of you. And you can feel it, and it takes a couple days to recover from a lot of these investigations. But then sometimes I go out the next night again and do the same thing. So yeah, we all can say we'll dead. So. Literally, I guess. So.
Yeah,
but Laura says, "Did Dickerson get home in time to go to work?" I don't know. I said about that. He may or may not in time. But he did. Think he's top day. So hopefully he get home last night. Back to the question. I mean, so what's your one of your favorite places so far been to? Becky, I guess they can't hear me, guys. I don't know what's happening here.
And breaking up, so I didn't catch them. I'm sorry.
We may have to I may have to take them off from in this show early tonight. I mean, we wanted to talk about what we experienced, but I think I'm having an audio problem. I have tonight. I'm going to kind of because I think I'm having internet too. So we may have to call it tonight instead of going clear in 30. If my co-host here can hear me, thank you guys for being on the show tonight. We'll try to have you back again, whenever you want. If you guys can copy me out there. I don't think we can. So, all right, I'm gonna pull these guys out. Something's going on. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Something's going on with our audio. I don't know what the deal is. We had a heck of a time getting the show going tonight with internet problems, and Becky and Jareth both couldn't get into the studio, so I have a show next week, and them pulled out right now. Hope you out there okay. I'm not even sure about that at this point, but they weren't hearing me. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching us again all the time, on our live feeds and watching our investigations that we do. So we'll keep it. We'll probably be doing another investigation here soon. We're going to stay away from the 4th of July weekend due to the holiday, so we probably won't be doing anything close to the first part of July in that period. We will be back on maybe with another investigation if one gets scheduled or pop the 4th of July. If not, we will see you guys after that. We've got the Ashmore Estates coming in August. That'll be August the 20th, or August, sorry, July. I still don't want to hang over. It will be July when we will be investigating the Ashmore Estates, and that will be July 25th. So hang in there, guys. Definitely, you'll want to see that one for sure. We're going to have a good investigation. But again, my conclusion tonight behind our investigation at the Edward Doss Masonic Lodge, there is probably some type of paranormal activity in that building. I can explain some of the things that took place there. We will do a follow-up investigation, and we are possibly doing haunted and historic tours there. So can't really debunk what took place there. I would say legitimate strange activity probably happening there. My conclusion that. But thank you guys for bearing with all my Masonic talk, kind of give you guys an insight into what the Freemasons are, what they do, and just a little kind of talk about that since you see so many of these things. But have fun out there, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good night, everybody. We will see you on the next paranormal investigation or live talk show.